Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video, I will show you a game between Shakhriyar Mamedyarov and Vladimir Kramnik. This is a game from World Championship Candidates Tournament, played in Berlin in 2018. Shakhriyar Mamedyarov had white pieces and he started with d4. Vladimir Kramnik played d5. c4, Queen's Gambit, declined. Knight to c3, knight to f6, c takes on d5, black to move, knight takes on d5 was played, e takes on d5 is the most played move, and it is considered to be better than knight takes on d5. Kramnik played knight takes on d5, e4, attacking the knight, knight takes on c3, b takes on c3, c5. This reminds me of the Grunfeld defense. Rook to b1, bishop to e7, bishop to b5 check, bishop to d7, bishop to d3, c takes on d4, c takes on d4, knight to c6, bishop to e2. If knight to f3, black can play knight to b4. So we have bishop to e2, rook to c8, knight to f3, queen to a5, check, bishop to d2, bishop to b4, if queen takes on a2, rook takes on b7, bishop to b4, rook to b2, bishop takes on d2, check, queen takes on d2, queen takes queen check, king takes queen, and the queens are off the board. Knight to a5, rook from b to b1, intending rook from h to c1, fighting for the open file. King to e7, connecting rooks, rook from h to c1, f6, h4, rook from h to d8, bishop to d3, a6 intending b5, king to e3, b5, g4, bishop to e8, knight to g1, intending knight to e2, knight to c6, knight to e2, rook to d6, rook to d1, rook from c to d8, bishop to c2, knight to a5, bishop to d3, knight to c6, bishop to c2. It looks like that Kramnik had a draw. He could have had a draw by repetition, but he decided to go for a full point. h5, g5, f takes on g5, e5. I guess h takes on g5 was expected. e5 attacking the rook, rook from 6 to d7, h takes on g5, h4. Black has a pass pawn, but that pawn seems like an easy target. What do you think? Black must be very careful to lose that pawn. g6, knight to a5, rook from b to c1, rook to c7. If knight to c4 check, the position of the white king would be improved. Rook to c7, bishop to d3, black to move. Believe it or not, this is the critical position of the game. What would you do in this position if you had black pieces? Would you play rook takes rook on c1 or rook from d to c8? Kramnik played rook from d to c8. And this is a blunder, believe it or not, because this is losing the pawn on h file. Rook takes rook should have been considered, and after rook takes rook, bishop to d7, and if rook to h1, rook to h8, saving the pawn. Back to our game. Kramnik played rook from d to c8. Rook takes rook check, rook takes rook, rook to h1, and you can see now that the pawn can't be defended. Knight to c4 check, king to f4, knight to b2, bishop to e4, and white is standing much better. b4, rook takes on h4, knight to d1, f3, knight to c3, knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, and black has a dangerous passed pawn. White to move. Rook to h2 was played. This is better than bishop to c2. Then black can grab the pawn on g6, and after bishop takes on g6, c2, bishop takes on c2, rook takes on c2. Back to our game. Mamedyarov played the best move. Rook to h2, controlling c2 square. Rook to c8. Obviously bishop takes on g6 doesn't work, does it? Because if pawn is pushed, then rook takes pawn. Back to our game. After rook to h2, rook to c8, king to e3, bishop to b5, f4, bishop to c4 attacking the pawn. On a2, perhaps a3 comes to mind. Shakhriyar Mamedyarov played even better move. Rook to h7, rook to g8. If bishop takes on a2, rook takes on g7 check, and after king to f8, check, king to g8, bishop to c2, and white is much better. Back to our game. Rook to g8, defending the pawn, but the rook is very passive there. a3, a5, bishop to c2, king to d7, white to move. d5 was played. It seems that king to e4 is a good move too. And bishop to d5 doesn't work because of king to d3. So in this position, white has more than one good move. Mamedyarov played d5. Bishop takes on d5, king to d4, and black pawn on c3 is as good as dead. Bishop to a2, king takes pawn, king to c6, rook to h2, king to c5, rook to d2, rook to h8, rook to d7 attacking the pawn, on g7 again, check, king to b2 attacking the bishop, bishop to d5, rook takes on g7. It looks like the game is lost for Kramnik. What do you think? But Kramnik doesn't give up. He's waiting for the skinny lady to start singing. King to d4, rook to h7, rook to g3. If rook takes rook, black has no hope. Rook to g3, rook to h5, rook to g2, rook to g5. This looks totally lost for Kramnik. But in this position, Kramnik decided to play for a little trick. Let's see what the trick is. Rook to f2, g7, bishop to e4. The bishop is pinned. Shakhriyar Mamedyarov promoted the pawn to queen. Rook takes on c2 check, king to b3, rook to c3 check, king to a4, rook to c5. Kramnik is now threatening bishop to c2 checkmate, and white must be careful. The first move that comes to mind for white is wrong, and that is queen to d8 check is wrong. If you follow the rules, look for checks first. So let's see what happens if you look for checks first and you play queen to d8 check. Then, believe it or not, black is winning. After king to c4, black is winning. The threat is bishop to c2 checkmate and bishop to c6 checkmate. If rook to g2, then bishop to c6 checkmate. And what else? If queen to b6, then bishop to c2 checkmate. Actually, White can play queen to b3 and then bishop takes on b3, checkmate. Back to our game. This is the position. How would you continue this position if you had white pieces? Shakhriyar Mamedyarov played rook to g2. So if bishop to c2, rook takes bishop. Bishop to f3, threatening bishop to d1, checkmate. Let's take it back. If bishop takes on g2, queen takes on g2, and white is winning. So we have bishop to f3, threatening checkmate. But now, queen to d8 check works. Kramnik resigned. If rook to d5, rook to d2, check, and after king to c3, rook takes on d5. And if king goes to c4, then there is checkmate in 1. Rook to c2, checkmate. This was not a lucky day for Kramnik, was it? What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.